Welcome back. So in this video, we're going to do some code refactoring just to make our code of this project a lot more organized and make it follow best practices as best as we can. So here in this file, things are very complicated, very messy at a first glance. So we're going to clean all of this out. First of all, this validate form thing should not be a function. It should be a middleware. So let's make it a actual middleware. And another bug that I found when we validate our forms is that when valid is false, so let's say the user submitted a form that was false, I mean, the function still returns and we're still running all of this code. And that's not what we're trying to do. So here, to make it a middleware, instead of taking a request and a response, it also takes a next argument. And next basically says, okay, go ahead and run the next middleware in the line when we call the next function. So if it's valid, we can leave that there, but we want to call next, and else we do this right here. So we return a error code right here, like so, okay? And we can make this a lambda that takes in no arguments. Okay, so just like that, we change this from being just a normal function to being compatible with Express middleware. So now when we go over here, we take this out, and before running this middleware, the good thing about Express is that in a route, you can specify more than one middleware. And like I said, everything in Express is a middleware. So before we run this, we want to run the validate form middleware, so it automatically passes in request, response, and next into this for us. We don't have to specify it. Okay, and let's do the same thing over here. So we just go here and we run the validate form middleware just like that. And also we want to separate our routes from our logic. This stuff should be going in our controllers folder, okay? So first of all, I want to take this out of here and stick it in here. So I'm going to create a file in our controllers called auth controller.js, right? And here I'll just do module.exports login. Or I'll just run, I'll call it handle login. And it takes a request, a response. Yep. And so here it would be a function, and we can just copy all of this into, we can just copy all of it into here, and then we import auth controller is equal to require, and we go into our controllers folder. Like that. And then here, instead of having this right here, we just run it like if it was a middleware. So inside of these parentheses, we just pass in the middleware. So it would be handle login, like that. And we can actually destructure this like that and keep things even more organized. So that's just looking a lot better already. And here we can do the same thing. So this might be just the hardest part of programming, is deciding on your variable names or your function names. So yeah, that's a struggle in of itself. Okay, I might call this one it's a post, so I'll call this one I'll call it login, or I'll call it attempt login. Okay, that seems right. Okay, so it takes a request, a response, and then we go back here, right? and we just copy and paste the same function over into here, and we make sure that this is asynchronous. Okay, and so instead of running this, we can delete all of this, right? And then after validate form middleware, we want to make sure that we what did I call it? Attempt, or yeah, login attempt login. Okay, so after the validate form middleware, once that middleware runs the next, it'll run to the next middleware over here, and the next middleware is the attempt login, and it'll just attempt a login right here. Okay, and this is follow that same pattern right here. So I'm just gonna copy all of this over like that, just like that, and then I'm gonna go in here and create a function. So module.exports dot a attempt register. I'm gonna call it attempt register. Takes a request response, and we paste that in here, and it's I remember it was missing a curly brace at the end. And so simply after the validate form middleware, the /signup route, we just run a tempt register as the next middleware. And as you can see, when we create a function or any variable and we attach it to the module.exports object, it automatically exports this from this file so we can import it in other files. So I don't know about you, but this is looking a lot more clean, and we want to make sure that we get these imports and stick them over here. So we want to make sure that we do that so that everything works as before. And this was an asynchronous function as well. Okay, and it seems like we're kind of doing this twice here, so get rid of that. Okay, and I'm just making sure everything is good, and we can check for errors. We can save, and there's no errors, and everything's working. So let me just delete the cookie on my browser, and then that will make us logged out. So let me just log in again, and see, we're logged in and everything working perfectly as before, except we're keeping our routes separated from our logic.